Howdy! Today I'm reviewing another power core combiner, Heavytread with his Minicon Groundspike. No name mistakes this time. Heavytread's alt mode is a small green Merkava tank, and aside from the usual, it looks good. The camouflage deco is nice. He's got a lot of mold details, even on the gun barrel. Really, the only thing that spoils the look are these power core combiner pegs, which I'm sure they could have hidden in some way. For features, the turret can turn all the way around. Though the gun barrel has an annoying tendency to pivot to the left sometimes because it doesn't actually lock in place or anything like that. Also, his Minicon transforms into a mine plow, which plugs onto the front of the tank. The bright blue honestly ruins the menacing factor, but mold-wise it's not too bad. It may be one of the best vehicle mode weapons I've seen from this line. Let's take a look at Groundspike for a minute. His robot mode is so-so. I can understand why some people say he's wearing shorts. Maybe that was the intention. I mean, he shares the same military green as his partner. I think he's supposed to represent a lost soldier who's ripped off his shirt and has torn his trousers into shorts. If that's what they were going for, then I can respect that. His arms look pathetic from the front, but I'll admit, having blades for arms is pretty cool. His head, however, is atrocious, plain and simple. There's very little detailing on it, and there's not even an actual face, it just looks like a drone head. Even for a Minicon, this sculpt isn't very good. Posability is limited, as you'd expect, though his ankle joints and large feet help him balance, to say the least. Heavytread's transformation is fairly simple, but this is a scout-sized figure. And here's the robot mode. As you can see, the front of the tank becomes the chest, the front of the treads become the arms, the rear section forms the legs, and the turret ends up on its back. Look familiar? I'm willing to bet that this was going to be a Generations or Classics update of Brawl at some point. Possibly. Update, homage, whatever, the figure is fine on its own. It's very stocky, as you'd expect with a tank former. Also, his military shades of green are still nicely balanced out. The only real visual problems are, once again, the power core combiner pegs. His articulation and posability is generally decent, though his arms lack swivels just below the shoulders. When you bend them at the elbow, the rest of the arm can't swing outward, which puts the limits on cool weapon wielding poses. Talking of weapons, Groundspike turns into a claw that can only be plugged into Heavytread's right arm. It's one of the few occasions where turning a robot into an acrobat actually pays off. Oh, and just so you know, the turret is packaged as a separate piece, but is not intentionally removable as a handheld weapon. Finally, there's his torso mode, which is dead easy to get to. His torso mode looks to be the best out of all the power core combiners. Aside from being very solid, it's just cool looking. The head design somewhat resembles movie Brawl's more than it does his G1 counterpart. His balance will vary depending on which drones you use, but his own joints have a good range of motion. Finally, Groundspike forms chest armor for Heavytread. Shame it's so small, otherwise it generally looks like it could shield him. When it comes to this line, I honestly think they hit the nail on the head with this set. They managed to spread the sacrifices out, and no particular mode suffers from the combination gimmick. On the other hand, with said gimmick removed, this could have made a really good Brawl. A downsized minion for Universe Onslaught. Next I'm reviewing a one-of-a-kind LEGO convertible. Until then, till all are one.